Hey, welcome all. Well, in this video I'm going to remove this damper pulley from the Corvette, 98 Corvette, and this might be the first attempt, many more after that, because this thing is on there pretty darn tight. Anyway, like I said, this might be the first attempt. I'm using a Ryobi. It has a maximum 330 foot-pounds, but that's tightening torque, and I'm not sure how accurate that is. I do not know what loosening torque is, but I'm going to find out. Anyway, I don't have an extension on it. I'm hoping to get as close to the amount of torque on that bolt as I can without putting any heat on it like they show in the YouTube video, which supposedly makes it easier. So here we go, first attempt. Wow. I cannot say that that moved any at all. Wow, I see what they mean by vibration and watching yourself. So I'm going to try something different. I have an air compressor. I'm going to run a Harbor Freight earthquake impact driver on this. The air compressor is a little small, so it's going to be intermittent, but it might have more breakaway torque. Here's the socket that I'm using, 24 millimeter, and it's actually very, very warm from what I just tried to do. Okay, it's about 75 degrees out here. It's 6:30 in the morning. It's supposed to hit 100 today. Some humidity too. So anyway, here's the central pneumatic earthquake. I got it on a small air compressor, 10 gallons, so it's going to be intermittent. So when this thing fits in there, it fits a lot smaller, so it fits in there a lot nicer. Let's see what happens here. Not enough. Okay. I actually think the electric one had a little more oomph. Okay, now I'm going to try a little heat on the bolt. I don't know how much or for how long, so here goes. Okay, here we go with the Ryobi electric again. We'll see if that works. Yes, it did. Ryobi electric. I did a review on this one, and you do need the heat on the torch, so there you go. The bolt is loose. I'll let it cool down a bit before I touch that thing. Okay, time to take this bolt out. It's cooled down enough now. Okay, I'm going to need to measure the gap from where the crank sits and the pulley sits right inside here. That way when I put the new pulley on, I will get it approximately the same distance. The balancer is not keyed, but the factory shop manual says to try and put it back on approximately the same position you took it off, so I'm going to mark that. And I'll mark the crank. What I'll do is I'll transfer this mark over to the new pulley. Okay, I'm going to try and get a caliper reading. 3.7 millimeters. 0.15 inches. That's not the best angle in the world, but I'm going to try and pull this balancer off. I have numerous balancer pulley removal tools, but I decided to try a new one. It's this brand right here. This is the longest rod that comes in the kit, and seems to have a few good reviews. So here goes. Well, it looks like I got all 3 arms on there. I'm using a 3/8 drive at first to see how bad this is going to be. Right now it seems to be holding fairly well. Okay, here's another view as I continue to use my 3/8 ratchet in the front to remove the pulley. There's another view down in there. You can see that it's coming off quite nicely and smooth. I'm not needing any more than a 3/8 ratchet to remove this. Okay, there she is. And out comes the rod. It was the longest rod in the kit, and out comes the pulley. And there's not seemed to be any oil leaks up here at the front at all, coming from the seal. What I'm going to do is clean this area up so I can get a better look at what the problem might be. I can look down in there. The camera's going to pick up more than I am. You can see where it was scraping. And that might be where the oil leak's coming from, right there at the pan right there. That depends. I'll get it cleaned up and we'll take a look at it. Well, the front cover is cleaned up a little bit. And you can see right in here, maybe, a little scrape mark. Everything really looks better now that it's clean than it did before. Overall, I would say the front cover looks pretty darn good. So, okay, I'm going to take this front seal out, replace it. These can be problematic if you don't have the right tools, and I don't have the right tools, but I have one that might work. I don't know. I'm using a Lyle seal puller, and I'm not real sure if this is going to be exactly what I want to use or not. Well, couldn't really see that. I was off camera, but I will show you. What I did was wedge some popsicle sticks down behind this seal here, this puller piece, to push it towards the outer part of the seal where the metal is and hold it in place. And then I just pried down and it went pop and pulled right out. all at once. The whole darn thing just come right out. Oh, weird, huh? Similar to that. So there's the old seal. And you can see how I messed it up there. That's why I used the popsicle sticks to push the tool towards the outer part of the metal right here. Catch the metal here. It looks to be just pushed in there. So I don't see any gasket material on it or anything. I'm going to take it out and measure it with the new one and see how bad this puppy is to put back in. Okay, I have the new seal, and I'm just going to not put anything on it and see if I can just push it into the opening. I'm really not having any trouble doing that either, by the way. Pretty much pushes right in. I've already checked it with the other seal and it's fine, same size. And I put this seal in the freezer for a few hours to make it a little smaller. So I was able really just to push this in with my thumbs, get it started. And this here is a piece of 2.5 by 2 inch PVC. That's a reducer, 2.5 by 2 inch, but it fits the seal fairly well. And I was thinking maybe. Okay, so seal is in. I will lubricate it before I put the crank pulley on. And that's coming up next. I did not count those threads. It just seemed to be a lot. Shop manual says to use the original bolt to put this back on with. And what I'm doing, I've got a substitution install bolt and I'm pulling it down with it before I use the original bolt, because with the pulley out so far and the original bolt, it looks like only about this many threads right here to here catch, that if you was to use this original one, you might only catch a few threads here and have a chance of stripping it out. I think I've got enough threads now though, or I think I've got the pulley on far enough that I might be able to remove this bolt and use the original bolt to finish the install according to the shop manual. Yeah, I have my mark on my crank and a mark I transferred over from the old pulley onto the new pulley. I got pretty close on that. Like I said earlier, I may have said that I'm not real sure if it makes a big difference because this is a different pulley than the original, so but the markings on the original were like this and this, so this is where I transferred the dot to. And I think we were getting some threads there. I might have to get a bigger wrench here. Okay, I switched over to a 1/2-inch drive. Give me a little more tug on it. I'm gonna take the bolt out and see how far I've got to go with it. Yeah, I got quite a bit of gap to go here. I need 0.15, I think it was. .1. Okay, got the bolt back in. Okay, it's tight. I'm going to go ahead and take the bolt back out again. I don't have it to torque yet. After you get it tight, it's supposed to go 240 foot-pounds. I don't know if I can do that. We'll see. Anyway, I want to take this bolt out. Take my calipers and see what kind of gap I got going here. It looks pretty good right now. The whole reason I believe for getting it down to 240 foot-pounds is to make sure it's seated well. I don't know. I'm going to measure this gap and then I'm going to go check with my figures. .13. Well, supposedly the procedure is to, using the stock bolt now that it's bottomed out, tightened the pulley down, is to go 240 foot-pounds of torque, and then to take it out, put a new bolt in, tighten to 35 foot-pounds, and then do 140 degrees on a degree wheel. Torque to yield bolt. They're designed to act like a clamping vise, these bolts are. So I'm going to go ahead and try and put 240 foot-pounds of torque on this old bolt. Maybe 235. And I will move the camera, so I'll come back when I got this bolt tightened down. The camera will be in my way for doing this. So I'll be back in a minute. I'll let you know what happened. So I got it down to 175 foot-pounds. I was going to go get the cheater bar, put it on the torque wrench, and go to 240, but I decided to pull the bolt out and check the gap from here to the edge, back here and here. And there's a tolerance listed in the shop manual, and I'm within that tolerance right now. In fact, I'm within 0.02 inches of being right where I was with the old one. In fact, this new one is actually in a little further than the old one was, so I figured I ought to stop. I didn't want to have to get this pulley in so deep that I'd have to pull it back out. So that's about as precise as I can get it. It is within shop manual tolerances. So even though I didn't get the pulley down to 240, had I got it down to 240, I would have pulled it in even further. And right now, like I said, right now it is in 2/100ths further than it was when I took it off. So like shop manual tolerance, I'll go with 175. Now I'm going to do a torque to yield. This should be interesting. I have a new GM torque to yield bolt. There's the part number. And that's a torque to yield pulley bolt. Got new stuff on the back. Okay. This bolt is installed and torqued to 35 foot-pounds, and it goes another 140 degrees from that. So I'm going to get it down to 35 foot-pounds first. Okay, there's 35 foot-pounds. Okay, I have a tool here, a degree wheel, that needs to go, when you tighten it up, it'll go all the way around to 100, yeah, right about there, 140, 130, 140 right there. So I have to set this up in here in a way that I'm able to tighten this thing. So we'll see what happens. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the 0 point and see if I can roll it around by hand very carefully to where 140 degrees is, and mark it on the wheel right here. And then that way, in case this tool breaks or I have trouble with it, I'll know that the mark on the bolt has to come all the way around down to here somewhere. So it'd start up here probably and then go around down to this mark. We'll see. So theoretically I could just take a regular socket and tighten this bolt down to right about here, but I'm going to go ahead and try and use the tool itself and see what happens. I'm going to set my torque wrench for 100 foot-pounds just for my own personal reference. I made that much progress right there, so I've got to go to there. Okay, well, I was able to put the cheater bar on it and a piece of pipe on the cheater bar, and I was able to tighten that up just a little past my dot like I wanted to do. So this job is complete. Everything is just a matter of putting it back together in reverse of the way I took it off and starting it up, see what kind of repair work I did. So until the next video, this is Cars, Trucks, and Detours, aka Steve AZ, coming to you from underneath 1998 C5 Corvette and saying bye for now.